everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Mind Matters, Navigating Head Injuries and Concussions. I'm your host, Kiley Como. I'm the legal nurse consultant here at Shane Smith Law, and today I'm speaking again with our friend Sherry Grote. For those who haven't seen our first discussion, Sherry's a caregiver, a career leader, and a creator of the Harmony Hero Framework, a powerful approach designed to help individuals find balance, strength, and purpose in the face of overwhelming circumstance. Sherry's a devoted caregiver to her husband after his brain injury and has been living in the thick of chaos, heartbreak, and uncertainty that come with navigating brain injury recovery, while also managing a career and caring for her own family. Sherry's journey as a caregiver and a corporate leader has inspired the Harmony Hero Initiative, where she empowers others, especially caregiver leaders, to embrace both their responsibilities and their professional goals with resilience, clarity, and grace. Sherry takes an open and honest approach in shedding light on the emotional toll and the unexpected beauty that comes from showing up for someone that you love while still striving to care for yourself. She offers encouragement, practical tools, and hope for anyone walking the path of caregiving while continuing to pursue their own purpose. Sherry, it's great to have you back with us today.
It's great to be back. Thank you so much.
So for the second part of our conversation, again, audience, if you didn't see the first one, go watch that. Let's move into the development of your professional and advocacy methodology and its impact with your mentorship work. Can you kind of explain the main components of the philosophy behind the Harmony Hero Framework?
So I believe that when you're dealing with brain injury, difficult people at work, human beings in general, it requires you to have a very high emotional intelligence. You have to create alignment between departments, between relationships, between people at home. You need to be able to be the glue that kind of helps them all find alignment. You need to be very resilient in this life. It is just part of day to day because there's a challenge every day that you didn't expect and you have to find a way to bounce back. You need to be able to motivate people, and not everybody's motivated the same way, right? Some people are motivated by words of affirmation, and some people are motivated by money, and some are motivated by accomplishing a goal. Whatever that is, you need to figure that out as a leader or as a caregiver because you're trying to get your person that you're caring for to reach the next milestone. And so you have to find ways to motivate them. You have to be very open-minded because at the end of the day, you need to try new things. You need inputs from all different places so that you can try something new. The last two pieces is navigating. Sometimes you have to remove obstacles for your people, whether it's your leaders or your person you're caring for. And finally, the most important is to be youthful. And that is simply to celebrate progress over perfection, because I am a recovering perfectionist. And guess what? I'm not going to be perfect. So I have learned that, and I've learned to celebrate the progress that you make. So whether that's in the caregiving world and a milestone that's reached, or it's in your profession and you're leading a team and you accomplished a goal, it's something to be celebrated. People need that in their life. And all those pieces in that mnemonic are the pieces that I have created for the Harmony Hero Framework, because I believe they're the essential pieces in order to help you find balance when the waves of storms come crashing against your world, whether it's through TBI, whether it's through some sort of crisis, or it's a struggle at work.
You know, there are a lot of leader workshops, corporate, retreats, personal growth programs out there, right? How does your framework, how does your approach differ from this kind of more traditional leadership or personal growth programs, even especially for those who might be caregivers?
Absolutely. So I believe the thing that makes the differentiating piece for me is the empathy. Because when you bring that empathy to your world, to the people that you engage with, in an artificial everything world that we've already talked about, we're still dealing with human beings. And it doesn't matter of whether you're at work or you're at home or you're dealing with people in a hospital while you're doing caregiving in the hospital. All of those are people. And when you lead with empathy and you put those pieces all together from the framework, you are now an incredibly powerful human being, because you're not just trying to get what you want, you're actually trying to help other people succeed too, because you're leading with empathy.
So true. So what might be some of the common struggles that you see among leaders who come to you for this type of mentorship, who may also be caregivers, of course, and how does your work help address those specific, pain points?
Absolutely. So a lot of them, they may have some idea of their superpowers and their strengths, right? So the first thing I do when I work with leaders is help them to find out their personality type. And I have a quiz for that I offer to them. It's something that's free. You can get from my website or my LinkedIn or socials. And it not only tells them what is good about their personality type, it also shares the shadow, that these are the things to watch out for. And a lot of leaders who are caregivers have a shadow of not being able to ask for help, trying to do it on their own instead of having a village and asking people for what they need. And that's one of the biggest challenges that I think caregivers, particularly who are leaders in business, have a problem with. And the reality is people want to help. It feels good to be needed, right? And if you give people the opportunity to help you, whether it's at work or at home when you're caregiving, it's amazing what doors will open up for you and for them. And they're really blessed by it. But it's so hard. It's so hard for caregivers to say, hey, I really need help because I have to go grocery shopping. Can you just, come over for a half an hour? Or I could really use it if somebody could bring me 18 dozen eggs, right? Just, I need that. I'm trying to make dinner and I don't have it. Does anybody have it, right?
Yes.
Those are not easy things for people who are usually the strong ones, usually the ones who are perceived as having it all together. So that's one of the biggest things that I have to help leaders with, is being able to ask for help.
That's so powerful. I think we talked about it again in that first episode we did about asking for help and how that may be difficult for a lot, especially the folks you're talking about who have that, go get 'em personality, high powered, go. But I think another important aspect that we often don't think about is other people, you said it, want to help. And when you don't allow them to help, you're taking something from them. And, you said they're blessed by that. It fills their cup. So again, just very much appreciate you highlighting how important it is to ask for help and allow others to help you and to come into your bubble, if you will.
Yes.
It's a tough thing. You're right. Is there a story that you have, maybe perhaps from somebody you've mentored, where applying the Harmony Hero principles made a tangible difference? Anybody that sticks out?
Several. That's a great question. So. Who would I suggest back? So I think one of the ones that's most amazing to me, they are a caregiver who have adult children who are still struggling with addiction. Different type of caregiving than I have to give. Different types of emotional roller coasters and waves that are hitting them on a regular basis. But just by giving them space to talk about the challenges that they face, and B, being a coach that asks questions, not trying to give them the answers, because most of the time people have the answers. They just need somebody to help pull it out so that they see it from a different perspective. And this particular caregiver was able to realize that there is so much value that they bring to the table, and that they are not a failure because of the circumstances they're in. This is a fallen world and bad things happen. It just does. It doesn't mean that you did something wrong or whatever. And this person was able to change their perspective from more of a victim mentality to actually being a powerful person who can now take their story out and go help other people. And to watch that transition happen for somebody is so amazing. And it's such an honor to be a part of their journey, right? And I think that's probably one of my more favorite ones.
I love that. And I think if people were honest, that's probably hits a lot closer to home for a lot of people, a lot more people than we'd be comfortable saying. So great one to share. Thank you. When you, especially talking about that scenario, adults, kids, I say adult children struggling with addiction. We talked a bit about, again, in that first episode, boundaries, self-care. How do you teach others, that person and your other clients, how do you teach them to balance being compassionate and still maintain boundaries and self-care?
So in that particular circumstance, it is challenging because there are physical needs, there's emotional needs, there's financial needs, and you have to determine what is healthy for you so that you do not become half a person or a quarter of a person. You need to maintain your wholeness, and realizing that their life choices are going to have consequences. They just are. And so you have to figure that out. And sometimes that requires talking it through. Hey, what are the options? And which ones can you do? And which ones do you feel are going to give you the most peace? Because there is a huge difference between peacekeeping and peacemaking. And peacemaking is much more about finding the right boundaries and saying no to this because I'm saying yes to this. And it's okay for me to say yes to this. It's okay to say yes to me instead of saying yes to you. And that's another hard challenge. Caregivers tend to be in that mode of I got to take care of everybody else instead of taking care of myself. And so it's something that I have to work with them a lot. And the other piece is that's a challenge for that is finding time, right? When do I have time to this? Do I have a half an hour? Do I have 15 minutes? Do I have an hour? Do I have 5 minutes? What do I have and what can I do? That's a good, healthy boundary for me to go, hey, before I do this for you, I need to take care of me. And sometimes it's just taking a breath.
Yes, so true, so true. So I'd like for you to kind of think about, kind of expand your view a little bit. In your experience, how might organizations or corporations better support employees who are also caregivers? They've come through your program, maybe they're going back to work. What would you say to the C-suites to implement some of these strategies?
Absolutely. So I actually do work with HR leaders in helping to incorporate a culture that is welcoming and inviting for people who are caregivers. There are 73 million Americans right now that are caregivers, and it's only going to grow because we have the baby boomers as an aging generation, and caregiving isn't just about TBIs. I know that's where we've been and what we've been talking, but it's raising kids. It's dealing with sick, aging parents. It is TBIs and things that just happen, or heart attacks or whatever, right? There's a whole group of people, and it's only getting bigger as we go. They bring so much value in how you care for people and how you deal with people in the workplace. And so I would encourage C-suite leaders to support their caregivers, give them space. They will give you 180% if you will give them 5% of grace about not coming into the office, or they're working from here today, or they need a half a day just to get their life together. They will give you so much more if you will invest just a little bit in them, and the results will shine. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I think we're doing ourselves in business a disservice when we don't put value on what our caregiving personnel bring to the table at the office.
100% agree. Sherry, you've mentioned, and I think we talked about it in the intro even, unexpected beauty. So in looking back on your own journey, what are some moments of unexpected beauty or hope that have really stuck with you, despite the challenges?
My favorite story is one that kicked off the Caregiver plus Career Chronicles that I have. And my kids, when my husband had his brainstem stroke, they were 8 and 11 at the time. So very young, and couldn't understand when Dad came home why he was angry and frustrated all the time. Now, as adults, we know trying to learn to do everything with one hand, walking differently because you hurt everywhere and your foot doesn't work right and you can't control your body, those are all really hard things. The fact that you're never going to be able to ride a motorcycle again, the fact that you can't do the things that you used to love doing, you're giving up all of that, right? So there's a whole struggle going inside of the actual person who had the injury. but the rest of the family still has to deal with that person in some form or fashion. One particular day, I don't understand why Dad's angry all the time. I just don't understand. And I came up with this idea, and I duct taped their arm, because, that's what we do. Yeah. I duct taped their arm to their body, and I told them, go brush your teeth, go make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, go tie your shoe. And what proceeded after that was, 45 minutes of whining and complaining about how they couldn't do whatever. And it was horrible for me. Like, it was not a fun 45 minutes for me, but I kept pushing through and like, go do it. You just go figure it out. And then we had an open, honest conversation after that 45 minutes. And I took the duct tape off and I said, you can now go do all those things the way you did them before. Dad cannot. That example taught the kids empathy. It didn't change the circumstances. And the beauty behind that was that evening they sat at our kitchen computer and they taught him how to play cool math games because that was what they were into at the time. Yeah. And so I have this beautiful picture of the two of them standing on either side of him while he's playing the cool math games, and they're teaching him and talking to him. And it opened up a door of conversation for them that didn't exist before. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. And I have lots of those, over the course of the last 11 years. But I also have a lot of hard stuff. But there's beauty in the storm. There always is.
There is. So right, Shane. And I love, it's hard to teach empathy. It's usually something we have to kind of stumble into and learn the hard way. So to find a way to actually teach empathy to especially young kids, that's a win right there. What a great story. And I know our audience, I hope, it's got the wheels turning a little bit because that was good. Sherry, what's next? So what's next with the Harmony Hero Initiative in your work with mentoring others? Are there any new directions or projects that you're excited about?
So I am working on several new speaking engagements that are coming up, including in things like the World Diversity Summit, which is awesome because I not only bring diversity as a female executive, but I also bring diversity because of my life as a caregiver and different perspectives in life. And so that's a huge part of it for me. The next part is I'm finishing the book. It's coming along. It's been a bigger challenge than I thought it would be. It's hard to tell your story in words like that, and I'm learning how to do that. And really, the last piece of it is that I want every caregiver and every leader who's navigating the waves of challenges, whether that's from a TBI journey or something else, to know that harmony doesn't mean perfection. It's all about finding balance amidst life storms. And if I can do that, then that means that all of this has been worth it. If one other person walks away knowing that it's okay and that their story and their mess becomes their message and it becomes how they can help other people.
I love that. The mess becoming the message. That's good. If there's one message that you hope that every, listener or caregiver leader can take away from your story, your work, what might that be?
You can do it. It may be hard, but you can do it. And if you need help or a cheerleader or somebody to come alongside of you to help you see that you have the strength and the power and the wherewithal to get it done, I will be that person.
That's a great way to wrap up our conversation, Sherry. Thanks so much. Okay, everybody, that is going to do it for this episode of Mind Matters, Navigating Head Injuries and Concussions. Once again, I want to thank today's guest, Sherry Grote, for joining us today and sharing her knowledge and her passion with us. You can find more about Sherry's work and the Harmony Hero Initiative on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as her website, theharmonyhero.com. I hope that our audience has enjoyed this enlightening discussion and is leaving with a real appreciation again of living, loving, and thriving in the midst of a brain injury. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, keep up with our latest content, leave us a comment today to let us know what you thought of our conversation. And as always, remember, if you're in pain, call Shane at 980-999-9999. Thanks for listening.
In pain, so I call Shane. 980-999-9999. In pain, call Shane.